Mark Few's Gonzaga Bulldogs, and these two teams, as we'll get into later on the broadcast, have quite a history of playing some outstanding basketball against each other.
Both teams already with impressive wins this year as well. Gonzaga recently beat Notre Dame by 20, and Illinois already with wins over Richmond, Illinois State, and Maryland. 7-0 for the first time in 5 years.
Illinois goes to that passing game offense, a series of screens, read and react to whatever the defense gives you, and Gonzaga with multiple sets that they can run in the half court.
And folks, keep your eye on 4 in blue as Kevin Pangos, the Canadian point guard, is a treat to watch. Here's Sacre in the post, and he scores the game's first points.
And Sacre taking his time, looking to see what Illinois is going to do defensively. Looks like Myers-Leonard's going to stay straight up.
That'll be a tough assignment today for Myers-Leonard, the sophomore. Another tough assignment for Illinois will be Tyler Griffey, number 42, trying to check Elias Harris. Here's Leonard in the post against Sacre. And Escalco with a little floater, and he knocks down his first attempt, and we're tied at 2.
By far, Sam Maniscalco has been Illinois' best player early in the season. He's got the experience from playing at Bradley in the Missouri Valley Conference, but he's got a certain toughness about him that's really bode well early this year.
Elias Harris forces one inside. Great defense that time by Griffey, creates the turnover.
And Tyler Griffey understanding the challenge that's before him. And with really good players, Bob, you don't want to try to stop them. You want to make them make plays.
And check called on Marquise Carter, first foul of the game. And Bruce Weber in his 9th year at Illinois, just picking up recently win number 200 for the Illini. And of course, Mark Few, one of the most successful coaches in America, trailing Roy Williams coming into today by 4/1000ths of a percentage point for the #1 win percentage among active coaches in college basketball.
And just doesn't get enough credit for the job that he does with the outstanding program that's developed at Gonzaga.
On the baseline, Tyler Griffey swishes one home. Illinois has the lead.
Good job of Pangos using Elias Harris as a screen to get the ball up the floor against pressure.
Another good job by Griffey. That's back-to-back trips where he has shut down Elias Harris. Scalco draws attention but turns it over. Here comes Pangos in transition. Richardson flies by, and Pangos able to tie the game.
Bobby, typically don't see freshmen make the kind of play that Pangos just made. He jumped in to DJ Richardson trying to draw the foul, but he still was able to get it off the glass, moving away from the bucket. That's a tough shot by Kevin Pangos.
From the corner, it's Paul. And the rebounds uncontested to Mike Hart.
Gonzaga always looking to put pressure on the defense, trying to look for early opportunities in the shot clock.
Sacre, tough shot, turns and hits over the top of Tyler Griffey.
We call those weight room moves right there. Some contact did not phase Sacre on the release. Big fella knows where the weight room is.
Richardson on the drive. Lays it home. And there's no question. Robert Sacre looks pretty good getting off the bus. Pangos coast to coast with the left hand, just a little too strong.
Well, for our viewers that are tuning in, this is not going to be your typical Big Ten matchup. It's a little bit slower. Both of these teams will be opportunistic in terms of early offense.
Griffey from the corner. Got it.
It's a big time sign there for the Illini. Tyler Griffey can provide some offensive support. At 6'8", young man prefers to spot up and shoot jumpers as opposed to with his back to the basket.
Harris, nice ball fake, creates contact as he got Myers-Leonard to bite. And Harris will go to the free throw line when we come back, and we'll take a closer look at win number 200 for Bruce Weber with the Illini. For the Illini, as you can see, now joins Tom Izzo and Bo Ryan with 200 wins in terms of active Big Ten coaches. And it was a very impressive win, Steve, as Illinois came from 9 down to outlast Maryland in the Big Ten ACC Challenge, 71-62 on Tuesday, and Sam Maniscalco with 24 points. But maybe one of those early barometer type wins for a program like Illinois that, quite frankly, lost across the board between 65 and 75% of their production from last year, depending on what statistic you look at.
Definitely an early test, because Maryland, even though they're not the Maryland that people have grown accustomed to over the years, is still a very vicious place to go in and steal a victory. They have a tremendous home court advantage, make it very hostile and opposing teams, and Illinois to withstand the blow that the Terrapins gave them early and to methodically get themselves back into the game and win that was a huge confidence boost for this young ball club.
Interesting move by Bruce Weber as well. He told us before the game he might do this as Harris can't hit. Myers Leonard picks up his first foul and ends up on the bench as Nana Egwu has come on to replace Leonard. But Weber told us that his sophomore center can get a little emotional. Nice backdoor cut and a throw down by Brandon Paul.
Wow, almost looks like a replay of the Maryland game. Brandon Paul going baseline, and Bob, that's when Brandon is at his best, when he's attacking the rim instead of settling for three-point jump shots.
Sacre now checked by Griffey, muscles one up in a foul call.
Well, watch the backdoor cut right there. Brandon Paul taking what the defense gives him, and then God-given ability at the end over Sacre. Nice play by the Illini.
5 field goals by 4 different players for Illinois, but now a foul called on Tyler Griffey. We'll see how long Bruce Weber keeps Myers Leonard on the bench as well, as Sacre knocks down the free throw. Gary Bell comes on, replacing Marquise Carter. But Bruce Weber told us that Myers Leonard is the kind of player where emotionally he can pick up foul number 1 and then very quickly after pick up foul number 2, because he can make a frustration play, still reacting to the fact that foul number 1 got called on him.
Yeah, Myers is a very passionate young man and still learning how to use that passion in the correct way. Tends to get down on himself, gets a little bit outside of himself, and that's when he makes those plays where he picks up the multiple fouls. So Bruce Weber trying to reserve his big man from getting into more foul trouble.
Ball left alone on the wing. It's a triple.
So Brandon Paul picking up right where he left off against Maryland. And when you're a player and you get that first one to drop, whether it's a layup or a dunk, boy, the basket gets big after that.
Foul called underneath. Again, it's Sacre getting position. And this time it will go against Egwu. So now all 3 of the front court big men for Illinois that we expect to see this afternoon have a foul apiece. It's a 9-1 Illini run, though, giving them the 6-point lead.
Well, Robert Sacre likes to come in and intimidate his opposing big man. So he'll hit you in the chest, he'll talk about you, he'll step on your feet, and he wants to see if you're going to respond. And you better hit him back, and you better talk about his mom like he's talking about yours, or it's going to be a long afternoon.
Sacre backing down Egwu, muscles it up, can't get it to go. Mike Hart, though, on the offensive glass.
Mike Hart, one of those guys that you find on every successful team. Doesn't need to score the basketball. At 6'6", a good size that he can guard perimeter as well as post, and will play hard and do the dirty work. Nice blue guy.
Turnaround from Egwu, rolls home. Nana Egwu over the top of Sacre.
Nana Egwu said, I'm not going to be punked here in the paint. I'm going to give you some back.
5 straight field goal makes by Illinois.
Tyler Griffey doing an outstanding job.
Tie up, held ball, possession arrow keeps it with Gonzaga. As Mark Few will go to the bench, make a point guard switch, and it's pretty good breeding coming into the game if you want to find a point guard with the last name of Stockton, who once saw his dad wear the same jersey for the Zags.
And if you look real closely, Look at the length of his arms and the size of his hands. Very similar to his father. A tough player despite the 5'11" height, and he looks slight in build, but he won't back down from a challenge.
Now, Mark Few said David Stockton is a tough little son of a gun and has a lot of his dad's mannerisms to go along with the long arms, big hands, and obviously point guard confidence, and he draws the hand check on Tracy Abrams. So the freshman from Chicago picks up his first personal foul. Already 14 fouls on Illinois, only 1 on Gonzaga. As Elias Harris goes to the bench, and Sam Dower comes on for the first time.
Gonzaga very deep in terms of guys that can come off the bench and not just be role players, Bob, but actually contribute. Sam Dower, not an athletic big, but is very effective in short minutes.
Sacre, jump hook, soft touch.
Sacre is going to force Illinois into a decision here. If they continue to play Sacre man-to-man straight up, he's going to have a field day. And they want to double team him at some point and try to make him give the ball up, either on the catch or once he puts it on the deck.
See, Myers Leonard is back in, set the screen for Abrams. Richardson for 3, fouled. Mike Hart fouls DJ Richardson, shooting a 3. Tuesday night, Jimmy V weekends with a college basketball doubleheader on ESPN. First at 7 Eastern, number 13 Missouri takes on Villanova, and then at 9 Eastern, Washington and number 16 Marquette. The Jimmy V Classic presented by Corona Extra on ESPN and also available in spectacular 3D on Tuesday night. DJ Richardson shooting 88% from the free throw line to start off the season. It's a rare miss for him, and also a terrific three-point shooter. 42% so far this year, 39% for his career, but the announcer Jinx working to perfection right now. You can't do it any better than I'm doing it for Gonzaga fans. Just keep talking about how great of a shooter a guy is when he's at the free throw line, and one brick after another. We'll see if maybe DJ can knock down 1 out of 3. Come on, DJ. Attaboy. Don't make me look that bad.
Replacing DJ Richardson.
Take a look last time. Watch DJ right there kick his leg out to draw the contact. That's a veteran move by very good shooters that are used to defenses flying at them when they're on their release. So they learn to scissor kick their feet to try to pick up a foul. Nice job by DJ Richardson.
Tough entry pass as Carter couldn't find Dower, so on the turnover, it goes back over to the Illini. Scout goes back in as well as he replaced Richardson. Pressure defense by Gary Bell forces the turnover. Joseph Bertrand couldn't hold on.
Well, Gary Bell Jr. from Kent, Washington. Look at his body, Bob. You're talking about a freshman, but he's built like an upperclassman and loves to defend. Doesn't do anything great, but does a lot of things well. Marks you very high on this young man. Nice show that time defensively by Myers Leonard. Allowed him to get back defensively to Sacre.
3 seconds called on Dower.
That's why you have to feed big men the basketball every now and then, Bob. You have a 7-footer out on the perimeter hedging on pick and roll, and then sprints right back in the paint and then has to lock arms again with Robert Sacre. You got to give the big fellas, got to let them eat in the post.
Paul tries to turn the corner. That floater comes up way short, and it's out of bounds off of Brandon Paul.
Sam Dower doing a nice job, help side defensively. Altered the shot without fouling. Getting very clean, solid play from both ends early on here. A lot of fouling, but very solid defensive techniques. Both teams here in the first half. Look at that hedge by Myers Leonard.
Sacre gets a mismatch inside, though. Blocked by Leonard. Maniscalco couldn't keep it alive, but Myers Leonard was there for the rejection. David Stockton in the game for Gonzaga, and those Zags roots run deeper than you might think. We'll explain when we come back. Illinois with the 5-point lead here in the first half, and we mentioned that David Stockton in playing point guard for Gonzaga. Well, it didn't just begin with his dad, who of course was the point guard at Gonzaga from 80 through 84 before a decade-and-a-half Hall of Fame career in the NBA. It actually began with Houston Stockton, his great-grandfather, who played football for the Zags back in the early 20s, but not the best of ups from John Stockton. We wanted to know where David got his vertical. That's from Nada Stockton, his mom, who played volleyball for Gonzaga back in the early 80s as well. And obviously when I think about John Stockton, I don't think about the vertical in the lane, hanging from the rim, testing the breakaway rims, right?
No, I was just checking out the great-grandfather's do. The hair was whipped. It was nice, man, all in place, you know? Football player, strapping guy, but he had his do whipped. You know, the hair was in place. I love it.
Well, David Stockton has already been in double figures in 2 of the Gonzaga Bulldogs' first 5 games this season. And he was 6 of 8 from 3 coming into today. So he was a really valuable weapon backing up Pangos off the bench. And a foul called underneath. That will put Gary Bell at the free throw line. Brandon Paul called for the foul, his first.
The floor spacing on that play was excellent by Gonzaga, allowing Gary Bell to do a tight curl into the lane and left Brandon Paul behind and drew the foul. But Mark Few does as good a job as any coach in the country of using sets to get certain players into position to score and get them in position to do what they do best. That time, excellent job getting Gary Bell going towards the bucket and converts.
Mark Few has been in the West Coast Conference for 12+ years now, and he's been the coach of the year in the conference 8 out of the first 12 years. That's not too bad.
No, that's not bad at all. You talk about consistency, and they'll say, well, it's the West Coast Conference, but I don't care what conference it is. When you win 12 straight seasons, and you're taking everybody's best punch each and every night.
I wonder if the folks in Spokane are always each year kind of holding their breath when those BCS jobs come available. You always hear Mark Few's name mentioned, especially the West Coast Pac-12 jobs, but he stayed in Gonzaga at this point.
Well, a lot of times coaches run from happy, meaning that when they're in a good situation, they're always looking for something better. Well, Mark Few understands that he has it pretty good in Gonzaga.
High-low pass creates the turnover as Leonard and Griffey can't connect. And that's a great point. If you've ever been to Spokane, look, for those of us elsewhere in the country, it is impossible to get there. But once you're in Spokane, it is a great little city.
Yes, it is.
As Carter comes up short, Harris the offensive rebound, so a reset for the Zags, and a little floater off the window from Marquise Carter, who Mark Few told us he's got an old man's game. As there he hits the floater, Leonard beats the Zags down the floor the other way.
Oh, what a luxury to have a 7-footer that's almost as fast as your guards beating defenses down the floor.
And off a made basket, Marquise Carter the other way.
Mark Few was talking about Marquise Carter. Says he changes speeds very, very well.
Nice turnaround by DJ Richardson. Great low position with the left hand. Dower can't hit. Here comes Maniscalco. He scoops one up. That'll go. Plus the foul.
Sam Maniscalco may not be the prettiest, he may not be the tallest, but he's one of the most effective. Getting to the bucket, drawing the contact, getting it on the glass. Sam Maniscalco continues to impress in an Illini jersey.
Maniscalco transfers over from Bradley. Now, he already has his degree. So because he has his degree and is coming as a grad student, he can play immediately. Jumps right into the Big Ten, already averaging over 13 points a game. And it was interesting talking to Bruce Weber about how appreciative he is to be on TV, to be playing in these kinds of atmospheres. He's the only senior in the rotation for Illinois. And some of the younger players that jump to the Big Ten right out of high school that maybe feel a little more entitled, that take the atmosphere for granted. Maniscalco at the Maryland game is going over to the announcers, introducing himself before the game, excited to be on ESPN, that type of thing. And it's probably good for the other players on the team to see that and appreciate how special it is to play for a team like Illinois in an atmosphere like this.
I totally agree, Bob. And he's a young man that gets it. I know his father, Carl Maniscalco, who's at the game today, comes from a solid background. He understands the opportunity at hand right now, and he's taking advantage of it.
Offensive foul called on Carter.
And I'll tell you what, more about Maniscalco, I better watch myself for my job, because he's wanting to go into broadcasting. He's pretty good with the mic in his hand.
Second foul on Marquise Carter, and he'll head to the bench as Kevin Pangos comes back on. So Pangos and Stockton, a pair of point guards in the backcourt now for the Bulldogs.
After looking at that replay, I'm not so sure that wasn't a block there. It looked as though the defender was still moving when the contact was made. Nice ball pressure right there on Brandon Paul by Kevin Pangos.
Richardson left alone. Off the mark. Rebound pulled down by Elias Harris. Bodies flying underneath. And look at Elias Harris at 6'8", coast to coast, a little too strong. Sacre knocks it out of bounds.
Bob, I tell you what, this is the type of game you want to play in. The referees are letting it go. If I could get 2 new kneecaps and get some of this gray hair away and a tub of Ben Gay, I'd be right out there with him. I'm excited over here, man. They are letting them play. It's physical. They're letting the game be decided on the court. And as a player, that's all you want. Oh, my goodness, nice pick.
Stockton walked into a blindside pick from Griffey. Illinois has hit 8 of their last 10, shooting 71% from the field. And they only lead by 6. Paul on the drive. Tough touch underneath. Leonard with the left hand, able to get it to go.
Now you're starting to see why NBA scouts salivate when they look at Myers Leonard. The hands, the speed, the size, and the timing on blocks.
And Leonard picks up his second foul. And Bruce Weber has to be restrained on the Illinois sideline. A touch foul over the back of Sacre. So let's see if Leonard goes to the bench with his second. He will. Egwu comes back on as Tuesday night, the Jimmy V Women's Classic features last year's defending national champion taking on a perennial powerhouse. Number 4, Texas A&M, and number 2, UConn. The Jimmy V Women's Classic presented by Corona Extra on ESPN2. Tuesday night at 7 Eastern. That was also foul number 7 on Illinois. So it's a 1-and-1 for Sacre as Myers Leonard is back on the bench with 2 fouls.
But now this is a great shot, because that will explain Myers Leonard, the frustration that he gets when he gets in foul trouble, and it tends to compound itself. And the fans did not like the call, Bob, but anytime you go over the back of another player that's going for the basketball, 9 times out of 10 you're going to get that foul call.
Oh, nice head fake to go around Pangos. Feeds it inside, and Jim Day will go to the line. What a great little head fake from Brandon Paul.
See, Brandon Paul's confidence is soaring right now, handling the basketball. Excellent crossover. Jim Day's got to finish. That's point blank range, big fella. You got to slam that one home.
Maybe Jim Day, who grew up in Mali but played prep ball at Huntington Prep in West Virginia. As now Tracy Abrams comes back on, replacing Maniscalco. He'd only played organized basketball for a couple of years before coming to Illinois.
Well, and his game can use some refinement, but that's not why he's out there. He's out there to do exactly what he's doing now. See how far he got Robert Sacre out of position, bodying him up. Illinois with the luxury of having 3 bigs to go at Sacre.
Chance for a 3-point play for Elias Harris.
Well, that's Fred Astaire on the block. Look at the footwork. Quick move, a la James Worthy to the hole. Elias Harris didn't have success early by facing up, trying to put it on the deck. So now he goes up with his back to the basket, goes to the baseline move. A nice adjustment by Elias.
Danger zone as well for Illinois. Trying to protect the 4-point lead. Tyler Griffey just picked up his second foul. So now Griffey and Myers-Leonard both on the bench. You wonder, will Bruce Weber try to play out the last 8 minutes of the first half without either of those two players? Egu also with 2 fouls. So this is across the board a backup front line for Illinois in the game.
Very good point that you brought out, because if Illinois continues to play man-to-man, Gonzaga is going to continue to force the ball inside the socket.
And now a turnover and a backcourt foul. Mike Shaw called for the personal. Free throws when we come back. When Myers-Leonard has been in the game, soft hands converting inside, but he's got 2 fouls on the bench right now. Well, Bram, we have had a fast-paced game. Bob Wischusen and Stephen Bardo here at Assembly Hall. A 4-point lead for Illinois over number 18 Gonzaga, as we are inside of 8 minutes to go in the first half, as we continue our Jimmy V Week coverage, committed to trying, in the memory of Jim Valvano, to raise as much money and awareness for cancer research as possible. And coming up a little bit later on, we'll tell you how you can get involved. As Kevin Pangos goes to the free throw line, the Canadian point guard from Newmarket, Ontario, the youngest player to ever be invited to play with the Canadian national team. And he can't hit, but there's Harris on the offensive glass.
And Mike Shaw, the freshman, not able to keep Elias away from the rim. Got bullied there that time. Both teams really shooting lights out. And it's not due to poor defense, Bob. Both teams are very good in their half-court execution.
Inside with the jump hook, he ties the game.
And Robert Sacre can get his left shoulder into the defender's chest. It's next to impossible to stop that jump hook.
Just that quickly, DJ Richardson breaks the tie and puts the Illini back on top. That ends a 9-1 run for the Zags. Richardson with a steal, blocked inside by Harris. The follow won't go for Tracy Abrams, but it's out of bounds off Gonzaga.
Wow. Mental miscue there on the inbound. Being a little lackadaisical. DJ Richardson being very aggressive, and that just can't happen. Very good recovery, though, by Elias Harris. Those are the type of plays that will make you follically challenged. Mark Few, not one of those coaches that seems to suffer from that, but a few more plays like that, he might be.
Egu with a tough catch in traffic, and it ends up with Maniscalco. Just getting the ball in bounds for these two teams in adventure right now. Ball off the curl, knocks it down.
Boy, he is really locked in. An unusual kind of jump stop, fake, defender slacks off, and he's just taking what the defense gives him right now, Bob.
And goes off the front rim. Sacre couldn't keep it alive, and the smallest guy on the floor ends up with the loose ball. Rising up and knocking down another is DJ Richardson. Wasn't this game tied about 25 seconds ago, so it seemed?
Yep. DJ Richardson and Brandon Paul starting to feel it. DJ receiving the screen, coming down, elevation, splash. 8-0 run, Illini.
Brandon Paul has been in double figures 4 times this year for Illinois, and Bruce Weber told us that he and Myers-Leonard are the 2 most talented guys on the team, but Brandon Paul was just forcing the issue early this season, that he started the year kind of with the attitude of, I'm a senior, all those other guys left, I've got to be the scorer now, and really his points will come as long as he's at the top of the hustle board.
That's right.
For Illinois, and he has been that so far today.
Well, at 6'4", 6'5", very athletic. He can rebound, he can defend, he gets in passing lanes. And as we've seen in the first half, when he's doing all those things, he can really score the rock.
Sacre double team, knocked away, and it ends up on the baseline, but a foul call. trying to create the turnover as he came over and provided the double team, picks up his second foul.
Nice defensive adjustment by the Illini this time. Sacre had been giving them fits, and they decided to double team him, and Gonzaga very fortunate they received a foul call in that play.
I think he committed a foul there, but it was actually the second little bump with the body that was called. I don't disagree with the fact that Brandon Paul committed a foul. Right. I'm just not sure if I agree with which one they got.
Yeah, well, you can reach in the cookie jar once, but usually on that second chance, it'll come up empty.
That was the 10th team foul as well against Illinois, so automatic 2 shots for Sacre, and he knocks both down. So Robert Sacre, who has not grabbed 1 rebound here in the first half, still has 13 points to lead all scorers.
And you would expect a guy his size to have bigger rebound numbers.
Elias Harris with the steal. And the lob. And Harris the throwdown. Kevin Pangos. Beautiful feed.
Well, Gonzaga switching up their defenses now. 2-2-1, 3-quarter court trap. Ball comes on the baseline or sideline. They'll double team the basketball. Elias Harris shooting the gap. Now they're sagging back into a 2-3 zone. So trying to get the Illini out of rhythm.
Shaw can't hit. Harris taps it away from Egwu. Harris left alone. Instead it's Stockton for 3. And Maniscalco the rebound.
Nana was open underneath. Gonzaga doing a really good job on the road, despite the hot hand of the Illini, staying close here in the first half.
Shaw forces one up over Sacre. It's an air ball, and Mike Hart has the rebound. All of a sudden, you've got Nana Egwu and Mike Shaw playing catch on either side of the lane, and neither of those 2 guys used to being a go-to option offensively. That's another foul called on Egwu. So that will put Robert Sacre back at the free throw line again, and that's the 3rd on Egwu.
See, what's a little underrated about Robert Sacre's game is his level of conditioning. And he's running the floor, he's banging bodies, he's hunting the basketball, and then he's still strong enough to finish. It's a part of his game that not many people talk about, but very well conditioned to be so big.
And a player that, according to Mark Few, as we've got multiple substitutions for both teams, has a light about him. When he walks into a room, Mark Few says he's never been around a more positive person, telling us heartwarming stories about Sacre in Spokane. The team, of course, Gonzaga's basketball team is the team in Spokane.
Right.
So the players make hospital visits all the time. And Mark Few said you could walk into a hospital room with a child who maybe has a week to live. And he said, I can't even stay in the room. And Sacre plops right down next to a child. What do you like? Oh, I'm a big Star Wars fan. Great, let's talk about Star Wars. And he will spend a half an hour at the kid's bedside as if instantaneously they're best friends. 3 in and out for Richardson. And it's lost out of bounds, but they say it's off Egwu, or check that off Jim Day. Mark Few said that Robert Sacre has a gift.
Yes.
In that respect.
And he does, and you and I have been fortunate enough to call enough Gonzaga games over the years to be around this young man, and he's just gregarious. Every time we see him, he's smiling or joking or jabbing his teammates. But when the ball goes up, he's all business and a fierce competitor, similar to what his dad was in the NFL, Greg McClure.
Fadeaway comes up short for Sacre. Loose ball, tie up, a held ball, and the possession arrow gives it back to Illinois. Terrific back and forth first half between Gonzaga and the Illini.
Well, Elias Harris is going to finish every time.
All right, Bram, thanks very much. We were both watching a little bit of that Kentucky-North Carolina game before we came over, and it's hard to not picture those 2 teams right in the middle of the Final Four run as we head down the stretch. But Gonzaga and Illinois putting on a pretty good show here in the first half in Champaign. A red-hot shooting first half for both teams.
Yeah, both teams doing an outstanding job, but Illinois doing it from the backcourt with 23 points from their backcourt, but Gonzaga 21 points in the paint, primarily from Sacre. So both teams shooting well, but 2 different approaches.
Gonzaga drops into a zone. It's Myers, Leonard, and Tyler Griffey with 2 fouls apiece, still on the Illinois bench. Hart. It's off the marker. Henry, pardon me, and the rebound pulled down by Mike Hart.
Michael Henry in the game right now. I've never seen a shot he didn't like.
Sacre got blocked by the rim underneath. And you can help us beat cancer. The V Foundation awards 100% of direct donations and net proceeds of events to fund cancer research. Log on to jimmyv.org or call 1-800-4JIMMY-V to donate as we continue Jimmy V Week in all of our games this week.
Last time we saw Robert Sacre not finish at the rim, that's one of the questions that people have about him at the next level, is his lack of athleticism around the rim and lift. But on the college level, he's quite effective.
Great step in and a takeaway by Crandall Head. Crosses over and lays it home.
Well, I know the Illinois bench has a huge sigh of relief. They've been waiting for a long time for Crandall Head to make those kind of plays right there.
Wide open jumper, a little too strong by Dower. Here comes Crandall Head again. Some energy off the bench for the Illini.
Gonzaga has really elected to stay in this 2-3 zone. Trying to buy themselves time and stay out of foul trouble going into the halftime.
Maniscalco finds the soft spot. That floater comes up short, though. On the offensive glass, though, is Mike Henry.
Boy, Mike Henry can hunt the rock down. It's a young man that the 25-point scorer in high school in Chicago. Great size at 6'6".
Sacre, jump hook. That's off the mark. The loose ball ends up with the Illini. Henry for three.
And Mark Few wanting to get a set play here. That's an ear tug. So let's look at a high screen and roll. Try to get Sacre the ball on the post.
Coming up on 5 minutes without a field goal for the Zags. Shot clock under 10. Pangos weaves his way through traffic and banks it home. What a pretty move by Kevin Pangos.
Well, we've seen 2 of those in the last minute. One from Maniscalco and one from Kevin Pangos. For a guy with sore knees, that's music to my ears right there. Don't need any hops for that, Bob. You just a nice floater off the glass. Now that's a YMCA game right there.
Good hands by Stockton. Tuesday night on Jimmy V Week. It ends with a college basketball doubleheader on ESPN. First at 7 Eastern, number 13 Missouri takes on Villanova. And then at 9 Eastern, it's the Huskies of Washington taking on 16th ranked Marquette. The Jimmy V Classic presented by Corona Extra on ESPN and also available in spectacular 3D Tuesday night. A timeout on the floor here at Assembly Hall. A close one in the first half at Illinois. Stephen Bardo back during Jimmy V Week here on ESPN between Gonzaga and Illinois. And just to prove how cancer truly touches everyone, the officiating crew. It's Mike Greenstein, who came over before the game along with Frank Harvey and Rick Bastel, the officials of today's game, and wanted us to pass along our best good wishes to Brian Rood, one of their fellow officials, as Jim Day comes up short, so a chance for Gonzaga to hold for the final shot. But Brian Rood, an official on the West Coast that works with these 3 guys quite often, fighting cancer of the lymph nodes as we speak. So Jimmy V Week trying to raise money for a disease that truly has touched everyone, as we're down to 4 seconds to go in the first half. Hoisting it up and banking it home is Stockton. And the first half ends on an up note for the Zags in a way I'm sure they didn't expect.
Hey, but they'll take it.
The first 3 of the first half for Gonzaga. And it's a tight one as we head back for the halftime report. Bram Weinstein and Andy Katz. Back back in Champaign, just about set for the start of the second half between Illinois and Gonzaga. The Illini with a 2-point lead. And once again, welcome back to Jimmy V Week for Cancer Research on ESPN as we continue our commitment to the V Foundation and Jim Valvano's dream to defeat cancer. Bob Wischusen, Stephen Bardo set for the start of the second half. Interesting trends in the first half, particularly with the big men for both teams. And I'm sure Bruce Weber is going to be excited to have his big men back on the floor. He protected them from getting into further foul trouble.
He did very well because Robert Sacre drew 8 fouls against the Illini front line, but they were able to rotate the players and keep them pretty much without foul trouble. But this is the dynamic duo that kept Illinois going early. Brandon Paul and then DJ Richardson elevates for the 3. 2 junior backcourt mates really sparked the Illini with 18 points between them in the first half. But usually, Bob, you ice your knees, you ice your back, but the Illini bigs will have to ice their chest once Robert Sacre is done. Well, look at him slam his left shoulder into the defenders to create space. Robert Sacre making his presence felt here in the first half.
What a strange stat line as well for Sacre in the first half. 18 minutes, 14 points, led all scorers. Didn't commit a foul, but also didn't grab a rebound.
So that can indicate one of 2 things, that he's being very aggressive on the offensive end, but maybe coasting a little bit on the defensive end. And his numbers on the rebounding side, average-wise, are not very good for a man his size that plays that many minutes.
That bucket by Pangos continues what is now a 7-0 Gonzaga run to tie the game.
Gonzaga, about the 8-minute mark of the first half, went to zone defense and really got themselves back into the ball game.
It's back tap by Leonard. Knocked out of bounds by Gonzaga. But Myers-Leonard back in the game, kept it alive. He and Tyler Griffey didn't play for the last 8 minutes of the first half as Bruce Weber had both of his front court guys pick up 2 fouls each. And as a result, sat them down.
Oh, man, Illinois got away with that lazy inbounds pass.
Griffey for 3. In and out. And the rebound in traffic to Marquise Carter.
And Gonzaga wanting to get the pace a little bit quicker here. Secure the defensive glass, and they look to push. To be Pangos, to be Carter. Look to advance the rock quickly.
Back down to the post to Sacre. Fades away. Comes up short, well short.
So now Illinois scouting, trying to force Sacre away from that right hook.
Nice slide to the goal and a blocking foul call. Myers-Leonard, great feed from Paul. And Mike Hart called for the first personal here in the second half against Gonzaga.
Nice slip by Myers-Leonard. Hart trying to draw the contact, but doesn't allow for space for Myers-Leonard to come down, drawing the foul.
Couldn't see his feet as well. He might have been in the restricted area. So as a secondary defender, if you're in that restricted area, it doesn't matter if your feet are set or not. It is never going to be called a charge. It'll always be a block, but then Paul turns it over. And then Pangos gives it right back, his pocket pick. Then Pangos takes it back, but it's out of bounds. Off of Gonzaga, so it gets a little bit sloppy, but it ends up with the Illini.
And Mark Few calling, it looks like they're going to stay in man-to-man defensively, but very effective. In the back end of the first half, switching defenses was Gonzaga. They used a 2-2-1, 3-quarter court pressure. Elias Harris came away with a dunk and a steal on one exchange. Just kept the line out of bounds.
Pretty move. The jump hook by Myers-Leonard.
Ooh, Myers-Leonard going with the Keem Dream Olajuwon with the Keem shake on the block.
Drawing contact was Carter. And it looks like that foul might be called on Leonard, so he picks up his 3rd. So now what does Bruce Weber do?
It appears Myers-Leonard caught a knee from Marquise Carter when he went to the bucket. Right there, Leonard trying to stay straight up, Bob. Let's take a look. Oh, looked like he hyperextended his knee when he came down.
He landed awkwardly, but he will stay in the game with a sore knee and 3 fouls. And Marquise Carter to the free throw line. Can't get the first to fall. Marquise Carter last year was kind of the enigma for Gonzaga. Came on at the end of the year and ended up not only being the WCC tournament MVP, but in the NCAA tournament, as Leonard will sit down after all. Picks up 24 points in the win over St. John's. Misses 2 at the line here. But Mark Few talked about how he was a great lesson for the coaching staff because 2 or 3 different times he was at the bottom of the rotation, and they finally learned their lesson at the end of the year and put him towards the top of the rotation.
Well, here's a guy that can bring you instant offense on the bench.
Griffey straight away. Off the mark, but a foul underneath. And if that is against Sacre, that's his first personal. And I think the crowd here at Assembly Hall realizes that the officiating crew finally saddled Sacre with a personal foul.
Well, Robert has been throwing himself around quite often on the offensive end. Hasn't been real active on the defensive end.
Great ball movement sets up Richardson.
That's when you'll see Illinois at its best, Bob, when they can share the basketball and a majority of their buckets come off of assists. Really, Brandon Paul, the only player that can create his own shot off the bounce.
Sacre double team, doesn't see it coming. Griffey takes the ball away. Loose on the deck and a foul call on Mike Hart.
Uh-oh, Sacre got kick or kneed in the back of the head, it looks like.
Robert Sacre is hurt. That was a terrific double team from Tyler Griffey that Sacre didn't recognize, and then in the scramble, he was injured.
Typically, when bigs get double teamed, the double team comes from the top side. The Illini came from the baseline side, the blind side. Right there, Tyler Griffey comes in, gets his hand on the basketball. Oh.
It was his own man.
Yeah, but see,
Mike Hart comes in and hits him in the face right there. And obviously that might have hurt Sacre, almost a whiplash effect to his neck as much as it was anything else. And by the way, Hart picked up his 4th foul.
Boy, tough exchange for Gonzaga. And I'm sure Robert Sacre's father, Greg LaFleur, has had that action before. NFL tight end. So let's see if the bloodlines can kick in and get Sacre back in the game.
Great tip attempt by Brandon Paul. Wouldn't go off the miss from Egwu. And then Carter throws it into traffic, taken away by Griffey.
Tyler Griffey hadn't scored the basketball a lot, Bob, but he has been the most solid defensively for the Illini here this afternoon. He's done a great job in the first half against Harris.
Griffey in the lane. A 7-0 Illinois run. And Mark Few calls a timeout. A pair of unbeatens going at it in Champaign. Jimmy V Week for Cancer Research continuing, and so many different ways that you can get involved. Go to jimmyv.org or call 1-800-4-JIMMY-V for ways to donate. And right now, Mark Few would take a little bit of charity if it came in the way of points, as his team is struggling. They have not scored but a point in the last 4+ minutes. A 7-0 Illinois run, and the Illini are on top by 7. Elias Harris underneath with the reverse plus the foul. Hang time from Elias Harris. Harris will try for the old-fashioned three-point play when we come back to Assembly Hall. How pretty is this? All right, Bram, thanks very much. Bob Wischusen, Stephen Bardo. We just saw Purdue a couple of days ago. A very impressive performance at home, and probably the surprising element of that game is how sloppy it appears that Xavier has been. But if Purdue were to beat Xavier on the road, I'm not sure how much of an upset that would be.
No, that's a very talented Purdue ball club. Only lost to Alabama in the Puerto Rico tournament. And as you see Myers Leonard coming back in the game, Purdue, a lot of people think, well, Juwan Johnson left. Etuan Moore gone. This is still a very talented ball club. Tyrone Johnson, Anthony Johnson coming off the bench, providing spark. Robbie Hummel looking as strong as ever. Purdue had 6 games in 12 days, so his knee would be tested. He came out of it with flying colors. And typical early in the season.
Backdoor lob to Brandon Paul. Great feed from Sam Maniscalco. Harris trying to answer. Can't get it to go. Myers-Leonard the rebound.
Elias Harris is going to be much more aggressive with Robert Sacre on the bench right now.
Leonard in the post. One-on-one. Comes across the lane with the left hand. And a chance for a three-point play.
Take a look at the last play that resulted in Brandon Paul receiving an alley-oop. Go ahead and roll it. There's Brandon Paul right there. Now watch him go around the screen and come right back here. Nice pass. Sam Maniscalco. Set play to get Brandon Paul on the backside of the defense. Great execution by the Illini.
And Leonard completes the three-point play. And just like that, Myers-Leonard comes out. So at the defensive end, almost Bruce Weber, even with 15 minutes to go, and Leonard with 3 fouls, trying to substitute offense to defense. He has Leonard go to the bench and brings Ibi Jimde back up.
And Jimde comes in because Sacre comes back in the game. The Illini with a 9-point lead, trying to stem the tide.
Harris will go to the line, fouled inside by Griffey. That'll be Griffey's third.
Excellent high-low action by Gonzaga that time. Isolating Elias Harris in the post area. And Tyler Griffey trying to front to deny the pass, but the pass over the top. The backside is emptied out. Elias Harris all alone with the bucket. Once again, excellent offensive execution by the Zags.
Elias Harris had a somewhat underwhelming sophomore season. Last year had a separated shoulder, a strained Achilles. And Mark Hughes said that his quick twitch ability just wasn't there for him last year the way it was as a freshman. Also missed Matt Bolden badly. Richardson floats one for Jimde. And Illinois lucky to avoid the turnover.
And DJ Richardson getting caught in the moment.
Paul.
Jimde not an offensive scorer.
Long fadeaway is good for Brandon Paul. Might have been an issue with the shot clock. Either that or they want to see if that last shot was a 2 or a 3. As things stand now, Illinois with a 10-point lead. But the officials will go over and confirm whether or not that was a 2-point basket or a 3-point basket.
We'll take a look here.
No doubt about it. He's well inside the arc. That's a long 2.
Mark Hughes got to be very careful here, Bob. It's one of those danger zones that we talk about. Down 10 on the road. Sacre trying to come back in and establish himself offensively. Elias Harris trying to press the issue. But the Illini looking to apply the knockout punch.
Largest lead for Illinois. Harris for 3. That's a big shot for Gonzaga.
Boy, Elias Harris playing with much more confidence here in the second half. Tyler Griffey doing a good job in the post. So what's Elias do? Move out a little bit, knock down a 3.
Officials confirm, and they will say that Stockton did not deflect that basketball, that it is going to go over to Gonzaga.
A lesson for young viewers. If you can save the basketball, even though you don't think you knocked it out, you always save the basketball.
That is some good hands. Fooled the officials, and Gonzaga gets away with one. As Pango's got his hand in and was able to knock it out, but Harris cannot convert. Here comes Brandon Paul.
Ibi Jimde providing a deterrent at the rim.
Another turnover for Illinois, though. Griffey to the deck, takes it right back and calls timeout.
Illinois.
Heads-up play by Tyler Griffey. And Tuesday night, the Jimmy V Women's Classic features last year's defending national champion taking on a perennial powerhouse. Tyra White leads number 4 Texas A&M against Bria Hartley and number 2 UConn. The Jimmy V Women's Classic presented by Corona Extra on ESPN2 Tuesday night at 7 Eastern. We've got a pair of undefeateds. And it's amazing that we're not even to conference play yet. It's barely even creeping into December. And a lot of the undefeated teams, even in the top 25, have at least seen some of their records take a hit early on. North Carolina losing to UNLV. That was a big upset from last week. And so to even be undefeated in early December in college basketball this year is saying something.
Yeah, and it was definitely a November to remember in college basketball. Tremendous matchups so early in the season, more than I can remember in recent memory. And the NCAA tournament is so critical for college basketball, and teams understand now you have to play a Gonzaga-like schedule almost every year if you're in the mix for an at-large bid.
Paul got Sacre caught on a mismatch, took him to the basket, and was not able to hit the floater. Despite the miss, I like that decision by Brandon Paul. Going off the bounce, getting in the paint area. And Gonzaga's got to get Robert Sacre going, Bob. Last field goal was at the 7:05 mark in the first half. In traffic, Bell found the loose ball, and then 3 seconds call. That was a possession for Gonzaga that looked bad from the start. And it ended up in another turnover. The thing about freshmen, we saw Tracy Abrams almost have a turnover last possession for Illinois. This time, Gary Bell. What happens when you're a freshman, you think that something's open, it looks open, and then you go, and the speed of college basketball surprises most freshmen. Leonard against Sacre, has to give it up. Under 10 on the shot clock. Leonard reposts. To the corner for Griffey. Off the mark. Good box out inside by Gonzaga. Allows Pangos to come up with the loose ball. Sets up Bell. He hits a 3. 4-point game with under 12 minutes to go. See, Gary Bell's on the floor right now at a critical time. This shows you how much Few thinks of this young man right here and what he's able to do. Blocking foul called on Sacre. That's his second. Stockton gambled over the top, and Paul took advantage. Free throws for Illinois when we come back to Champaign. All right, Brand, thanks very much. Bob Wischusen, Stephen Bardo here at Champaign. 52-48, Illinois has the lead, and Robert Sacre, Stephen, has been quiet in the second half. Yeah, he has. Illinois has done a really good job of forcing him out of his comfort zone. He get his mid-block area where he can turn his left shoulder into the defense and come with the jump hook. Illinois has done a very good job of keeping him off that spot. We're used to seeing Sacre score. We're also used to seeing him grab rebounds. Averaging about 17 points and 8 rebounds a game coming into today. Well, he still has no rebounds. Now, part of that has to do with the fact that Illinois lit it up from the field in the first half. Right. So there weren't a lot of defensive rebounds to grab. But how much does it surprise you that he doesn't even have one at this point? Well, I think in the first half offensively, he was going so well that he was either scoring or getting to the free throw line. And then weak side, on the defensive end, he's moving to try to help his teammates, which takes him out of rebounding position. But still, at that size, you've got to be a factor on the glass, especially on the road. Mark Few told us he thought that was going to be a big key in this game. His whole team needed to be a factor on the glass. Randall head back in the game, replacing Paul after he made the free throws to make it a 6-point lead. A high screen and roll here as the shot clock runs down. Shot clock at 7. Bell on the drive. Sets up a wide open Dower. He can't hit. The rebound ends up underneath with Gary Bell. Boy, Gary Bell, one of those lunch bucket type of players. Doesn't mind mixing it up. Solid body. Provided some serious stability when Gonzaga's needed it most here this afternoon.
Quietly, the Zags creep back in the game. They change defenses. A 2-3 zone type matchup.
And Griffey has it taken away by Stockton. Shovels off to Pangos, but it's taken away by Maniscalco, and then Stockton commits a backcourt foul.
That's why coaches like seniors. Anticipation on the defensive end. He's seen this coming. He saw Stockton's eyes light up when Pangos is running on the wing. Nice anticipation by Maniscalco.
Second foul on Stockton and the 6th team foul against Gonzaga. So midway through the second half already, Gonzaga out of fouls to give. Maniscalco for 3. The follow inside by Tyler Griffey.
Tyler Griffey recognizing, Bob, the toughest thing to do in a zone defense is to box out. Ball goes up on the rim. Tyler Griffey unabated to the rim.
Pangos can't get the roll. Offensive rebound by Dower. The putback is good. And Sam Dower will go to the free throw line. You can help us beat cancer. The V Foundation awards 100% of all of your direct donations and net proceeds of events to fund cancer research. Please log on to jimmyv.org or call 1-800-4-JIMMY-V to donate. Robert Sacre returns. Sam Dower goes to the free throw line, and Tyler Griffey gets a nice hand as he is replaced by Myers Leonard.
For those viewers that were watching that have not seen the past Illinois-Gonzaga games, when you saw Illinois go up 10, you may have thought this game was out of reach. These two teams have played some classic games over the years. Last year's game in Seattle, Illinois won by 12. They hit 12 threes, but the game before that, January 2nd, 2010, I was there at the United Center. That was an 85-83 overtime victory for Gonzaga and had everything in it, Bob. A wonderful matchup, back and forth, lead changes, and it appears this may follow suit.
Yeah, today's been more of the same. Myers Leonard left alone, pulled the string a bit. I think he was surprised to find how alone he was, but the putback inside. Mike Shaw works the offensive boards. And then Maniscalco with another rebound, or a steal, pardon me. He'll pull up, in and out. Assembly Hall was ready to come apart. A foul, though, on the rebound to Sacre. It'll be a 1-and-1 for Illinois, and that'll be the 3rd on Sacre.
As I look over at the Illinois bench, last year's Illinois club, very talented. Dimitri McCain, Jeremy Richmond, Dallas High School All-American, Mike Tisdale, leading returning field goal percentage leader in the Big Ten. Mike Davis, leading returning rebounder in the Big Ten. But chemistry problems. This year's team, younger, but boy, they pull for one another. You see the energy on the bench. Bruce Weber's got to be pleased with the way his team has come together so quickly.
Dower left alone. Sacre goes over the back for another rebound. Outside to Pangos for 3. It's a 2-point game.
But this Gonzaga team resembles their coach. Cool under pressure. Guys step up, have confidence in what they're doing, and this zone defense has befuddled the Illini.
Myles Leonard, nice look underneath. Unable to convert was Abrams, but he'll go to the free throw line.
Well, Bob, Sacre was dominant early, but the Illini have started to put some beef on him, trying to wear him down a little bit. And it seems to have taken effect with Sacre struggling here in the second half because he was working so hard in the first half with multiple bodies coming at him. So defensive strategy for the Illini working thus far against the big fella here in the second half.
Pardon me, a foul not called. They actually called goaltending on that last trip for Illinois. From the corner, it's Bell. Myers Leonard the rebound.
Mark Few, you're not upset with that shot. They got ball reversal. Gary was wide open in the corner. A good look. Illinois has yet to get the ball right where Shaw is at the free throw line.
Paul for three. A long rebound to Gary Bell. Numbers for Illinois, or numbers for Gonzaga, and a blocking foul is called. It looks like they're going to get Brandon Paul on the call, in spite of the fact that DJ Richardson ended up on the deck. Regardless of who got called, Bruce Weber is befuddled. And again, if you're out there and would like to help us raise money in honor of Jimmy V Week and Jimmy V's continuing legacy to fight cancer, you can go to jimmyv.org or call 1-800-4JIMMY-V as well. 100% of donations go to the fight against cancer. You can also text Jimmy V to 85944, and that will automatically donate $10 on your behalf. So please get involved. And we are involved in a good one here. 7.5 minutes to go. A foul inside called, looks like against Tyler Griffey. That's his fourth. So now 3 on Leonard, 4 on Griffey. And that will send Tyler Griffey to the bench as Mike Shaw will come back on for the Illini. Team foul number 6 on Illinois, so still an out of bounds underneath for Gonzaga. But now both teams are out of fouls to give with 7:34 to go. Pangos comes up short.
Gonzaga looking for some quick hit action on the out of bounds play. Pangos had a pretty good look, but he hasn't had many opportunities from 3 this afternoon. Illinois doing a good job of shadowing him.
Soft touch from Leonard. 11 points for Myers Leonard.
Myers Leonard, 7'1". Both teams still shooting the ball very well, but Myers Leonard, 7'1". Runs like a gazelle. Soft hands, we've seen that on the catch. And a feathery jump shot like that, his upside is tremendous.
He's 5 of 6 from the field today as Mike Shaw picks up his second foul, and that's team foul number 7 on Illinois. So both teams in the bonus as Elias Harris will shoot 1-on-1.
Well, he's got beautiful rotation on his release, does Elias Harris. No wasted motion on that shot. Surprised me that he doesn't look to take more jump shots from the perimeter.
And a better basketball player, according to Mark Few this year, because he finally stayed home and spent the summer working on his game in Spokane. Rather than going back, of course, he's a German native, going back to Germany, and a takeaway by Stockton, but taken right back by Brandon Paul. Richardson floats in, and that will not go, but he'll go to the free throw line.
What a play by Sam Maniscalco. Gonzaga looks like they have a steal. Stockton's going to the hole, and Maniscalco just rips it from him. You're talking about Alibaba and the 40 Thieves. Getting it done, Maniscalco. Right there. Beautiful strip.
Was almost like you could see the expression on Mark Few's face, like he could see it coming. As Richardson knocks down the front end. And by the way, Sacre now with 4 fouls. All 4 fouls in the second half for Sacre, and he now goes to the bench with 6:47 to go. I think pair at the line for Richardson. Now if you're Mark Few, how long do you keep Robert Sacre on the bench?
I think you have to keep him there for a couple minutes, Bob. If you can get to the 4-minute mark and still stay within striking distance, 6 to 8 points, I think then you bring him back in. Because Elias Harris is starting to heat up a little bit. Sam Dower can score, so you're not missing that much. Sacre, I think, has gotten worn down a little bit from the different bodies the Illini were throwing at him in the first half.
Harris turns it over, though. Maniscalco down the lane. In and out. And Elias Harris the rebound.
Boy, he's had a couple shots halfway down the bucket and found their way out. Still good decisions. Anytime you get a shot going towards the bucket in the paint area, pretty good look.
Good position inside for Dower, and he is able to hit.
Sam Dower really got Myers Leonard on his back, almost all the way underneath the bucket.
Back to the zone for Gonzaga.
And Illinois really has not handled this zone defense very well all afternoon. They've been able to disguise their offensive success based on some steals and some runouts, but they've really struggled against this zone.
That'll bust the zone. DJ Richardson hits a three. And a timeout call. Illinois with the quick timeout. 19 points for DJ Richardson. And Tuesday night, Jimmy V Week ends with a college basketball doubleheader on ESPN. First at 7 Eastern, 13th ranked Missouri takes on Villanova. And then at 9 Eastern, it's Washington and number 16 Marquette. The Jimmy V Classic presented by Corona Extra on ESPN. Also available on Tuesday night in spectacular 3D. So many great matchups early this season as we take a look at the zone-busting shot from DJ Richardson.
Well, as you just mentioned, Bob, that's one way to get Gonzaga or anyone out of a zone when you're able to shoot the three that well. And that's one of the things that Illini have been scouted against, is their ability to shoot the outside jump shot. So Gonzaga rolling the dice a little bit, but Illinois came up big that time.
Both of these players are now juniors. Both of them had down sophomore years. For similar reasons, maybe. I mean, Elias Harris obviously fought through some injuries, but according to Mark Few, he thought that he might have been a little overhyped after he dunked a lot as a freshman. And DJ Richardson was the Big Ten Freshman of the Year 2 years ago. But last year, only 8.4 points per game. And Bruce Weber thought that Richardson might have thought as a sophomore after a Big Ten Freshman of the Year award, maybe it would come easy. He was humbled last year, he said.
He was humbled, and he was with a group that was somewhat difficult to play with. He had to defer to some upperclassmen, but right now, he's the main man and playing like it.
And without Sacre in the game, everything runs through Elias Harris for Gonzaga, and he has missed his last couple of shots. 5 minutes to go. Paul left alone down the lane, finds Myers Leonard.
That was perfect execution against the zone. You get to the middle via the pass or the dribble. Brandon Paul making plays for the Illini.
Timeout called by Mark Few.
When you're talking about breaking a zone, you have to get the ball in the middle, right in this area here. And that's what the Illini were able to do. Brandon Paul comes right here, draws the defense. Nice pass of Myers Leonard. Textbook execution against a 2-3 zone by the Illini.
The moment that Myers Leonard threw that dunk down, Robert Sacre got up off the bench. And Mark Few might have called that timeout as much to gather his team around as to get Sacre back in the game.
True. And to try to stem the tide a little bit, the crowd is back into the game. It's a critical juncture. And Gonzaga's got to go with their hot hands here down the stretch if they want to close this lead. Myers Leonard getting the crowd hyped. Great job by our crew capturing the moment here in Champaign.
Shot clock under 10. Pangos with the shot clock at 6. Gets it to Sacre in the post. Sacre stumbled. Shot clock down to 3. Has to fade away. Tough shot from Robert Sacre. That'll quiet the crowd a bit.
Remember I said coaches love seniors? Because they just make plays when you have to have them. They've been in this situation, and that's his first field goal in the last 23 minutes. Couldn't have come at a better time for the Zags.
Gonzaga needs stops now as Leonard squares up on Sacre. He's got 4 fouls. Fades away and connects. How do you defend that?
Young fella. He had the dream shake earlier. Now he's got the dream fade.
Foul call. Sacre might be out of the game. He is. Robert Sacre has fouled out, and Myers Leonard nearly perfect from the field. The Illini in control here in the second half. All right, Bram, thanks very much. The Big East on the verge of winning the SEC Challenge. As it looks like UConn will hold on against Arkansas. There are some wild results everywhere in college sports. Maniscalco gets it over the timeline. Bob Wischusen and Stephen Bardo here in Champaign. A 9-point lead for Illinois over Gonzaga. 3:20 to play. And Robert Sacre just fouled out as we went to break. So this has become a chore for the Zags. Under 10 to shoot. Paul, 5 seconds on the shot clock. Crosses over. And the long rebound ends up with Gary Bell.
Solid defensive possession this time by Gonzaga.
Bell down the lane with the left hand. Gonzaga not going away with 2:50 remaining.
Oh, Gary Bell has been impressive. He's made plays every time Gonzaga's needed a big play, whether defensively or going to the bucket. He's able to get it done.
7 points this half for Bell. Great defensive pressure on Paul that forces Bruce Weber to call timeout from the bench. Well, this happened just before we went away. This is the last foul on Sacre.
And you know what? He got away with that in the first half. Myers Leonard set up beautifully, received the contact. I know Gonzaga didn't like the call, but I think that was the appropriate one in that situation.
He had 14 points and no fouls in the first half. 2 points and 5 fouls in the second half.
Yeah, it's an accumulative effect when you throw 3 big bodies at Robert Sacre. Jimdy, Nana Ikwu, and Tyler Griffey's even had his opportunity as well. So that's 4 bigs running their bodies at Robert Sacre. I think it wore him down, took a cumulative effect in it. That last foul, he might have had a little bit of frustration there trying to establish himself.
So a smaller lineup on the floor for Gonzaga. Illinois trying to move to 8-0. Gonzaga is at 5-0. So a pair of unbeatens. Both already with some quality wins this year. Both coming off of arguably their most impressive wins in their last game. As Illinois beat Maryland on Tuesday, and Gonzaga a 20-point win on Wednesday over Notre Dame. 10 seconds on the shot clock as Maniscalco goes to work. A little hesitation dribble with the left hand, plus the foul around Pangos.
Well, you talk about impressive. Go, slow down, go again, use your strength. Seniors, once again, are coach's dreams.
Three-point play for Sam Maniscalco, and a big one. It pushes the lead back up to double figures.
I've been impressed with the Illini this afternoon, Bob. They've answered every challenge by Gonzaga to push this lead back out to double digits.
Myers Leonard, though, picks up the foul on Elias Harris. That's the 4th on Leonard. And the 8th team foul against Illinois. So that puts Harris back at the line to shoot 1 and 1.
Elias Harris goes to the line shooting 1.
Yeah, that's the best case scenario for Gonzaga right there. No clock off, no clock running. Free throw opportunities for Elias Harris, and pick up yet another foul on Myers Leonard. Illinois right now, understanding Gonzaga's going to score, or try to score rather quickly, whether via the 3 or getting to the rim.
1 of 2 at the line, but somehow in traffic, Gary Bell for a moment had the loose ball. Bodies all over the place. Bell is hurt as Mike Hart almost tripped over his teammate. It ends up with Illinois, but an injury timeout. That's the second time we've seen a Gonzaga player go down on this end of the floor, as Sacre was injured in a scrum earlier as well.
And he's grabbing his knee, and that's not...
His right leg got caught underneath Myers Leonard. Right there. Leonard trapped the right foot of Gary Bell in that scrum, and Bell twisted his knee.
And we've seen a few situations where there's been loose balls. We saw Sacre get his neck pushed back a little bit.
So Sacre has fouled out, and arguably the best defensive player that Mark Few has, needing to be helped off the court, can't put any weight on that right leg.
Bob, it may be beginning of December, it may be non-conference, but this has a feel of a Big Ten game. The physicality, the desire going for loose balls. This is not good. They're taking him behind the bench. Doesn't want to put any weight on that leg.
Maniscalco trapped in the backcourt. Turns it over. Elias Harris with the takeaway. And what's the call? Was a timeout call or a foul was called, maybe against Illinois. It looks like a mid-court foul was called against the Illini. It looks like DJ Richardson reached in after the steal, and Elias Harris now will shoot free throws.
The one mistake Sam Maniscalco has made this afternoon, he could have advanced the ball to Myers Leonard to get it across half court. He chose to try to beat the double team via the bounce. Rare miscue by Sam Maniscalco. Surprised the officials have not caught the blood on the leg of Myers Leonard.
And a pair at the line for Elias Harris. Matisse Keita comes on. As now Myers Leonard goes over to the bench, and they will stop play as he's got a cut that you mentioned, Steve, that has a lot of blood running down the inside of his left leg.
And he's got to learn. He'll learn as he gets older. Got to be a little smoother going to the bench and not draw so much attention. When a 7'1" guy sprints to the bench and he's not coming out of the game, that's going to draw the attention of everyone in the building. But big fella's learning.
So Leonard with 4 fouls stays in the game. Robert Sacre with 16 points and only a couple of rebounds. He fouled out, picking up all 5 fouls in the second half. 2 minutes to go in a game that's far from over.
And we talk about toughness, Bob. Toughness is taking care of the basketball, hitting your free throws, and making the right play down the stretch. Gonzaga desperate right now. They're going to have to take some chances defensively. See, no spacing right there. Illini fortunate. Good pressure by Gonzaga defensively.
Shot clock at 7. Maniscalco gets Harris caught on a switch with a ball fake. Up and under. Rejected by Harris. 1 on the shot clock.
Good job of Elias staying on the floor, understanding he doesn't need to go for any shot fakes. He's got enough size and athleticism to stay down and block that shot.
1 second on the shot clock. They lob it inside and unable to convert, but on the putback is Myers Leonard. Couldn't have worked out any better for the Illini.
Myers Leonard doing the old Moses Malone. Throw it on the rim and go back and get it.
3 for Stockton. Falls. It's a 6-point game with 1:09 to go.
I ain't gonna be tested handling the rock here.
Ango's called for a backcourt foul. So Maniscalco will shoot.
You had to know this was coming. With 1 second on the shot clock, throw the ball to the rim, and the biggest man on the floor go get it.
Team foul number 10 against Gonzaga, so it's an automatic 2 shots for Maniscalco. Gets the roll. It's a members bounce. Apparently he's comfortable in the orange and blue.
We saw a team that many thought could be a Final Four threat and a threat to win the SEC in Vanderbilt last night. They had their opportunities on the road at Louisville to show some toughness to close out a game that would have been a huge signature win for them. They missed free throws. They didn't handle the pressure. And Louisville scrapped their way back to a victory. But the Illini here this afternoon making all the right plays.
Stockton has a chance for a three-point play. So just like that, Stockton has a chance to cut the lead down to 5 with 57 seconds to go.
Well, this looked reminiscent of someone else we know with the last name Stockton. Drawing the contact, going to the hole, getting the roll. Stockton stunting, David stunting like his daddy John.
And these are exactly the kinds of situations last year where we saw Illinois, even with all of those seniors, fail. Last year against ranked opponents, the Illini were 1-7. And oftentimes in close games, kind of got out-toughed down the stretch. Now you've got a younger team, and you said you think a tougher team than last year. We'll see how they handle the last minute.
Brandon Paul is a luxury. Can handle the ball like a point guard. You saw him break the pressure there.
Gonzaga backing up, opting not to foul. 18 on the shot clock. Maniscalco will dribble it down.
High screen and roll, Maniscalco.
8 to shoot. Maniscalco again gets Harris caught on a switch. Drives it, dumps it underneath. And Leonard throws it down. How good was that by Maniscalco?
Floor spacing by the Illini.
Stockton has to attack, can't hit, and it goes over the top of the backcourt. The officials will confer to see who will end up with the basketball, but it might be a moot point. It'll stay with Gonzaga, but a 7-point advantage with 17 seconds to go. And that play made by Maniscalco may have iced it.
Yeah, and looks like they're turning the call around right here, so expect a quick 3 by Stockton or Pangos coming off this inbounds.
And a timeout called by Mark Few. He has 2 left, and he'll spend 1 here. And during the timeout, let's get an update from our studio. Let's go back to Bram Weinstein. All right, Bram, thanks very much. Double bonus the rest of the way. The possession arrow belongs to Illinois, but with a 7-point lead, the Illini might avoid the fate that befell Purdue. That is a brutal loss for the Boilers.
To Holloway and Lions, one of the better backcourts in the country, come through again.
There's your quick 3 from Pangos. He can't hit. Leonard the rebound. And a foul given by Marquise Carter. Leonard will shoot free throws at the other end. Under 10 seconds to go. And Illinois is going to end up with very impressive back-to-back wins. In the Big Ten ACC Challenge, in their last game, a 71-62 win over Maryland, where they trailed by 9 in the second half and came back. And today, challenged over and over again by the 18th ranked Zags. And it looks like Illinois is going to hold on and beat Gonzaga.
Well, and they've used 12 players in doing so. And when you can get guys' time and contributions in a game this tight against a nationally ranked opponent with a young team, this will do wonders in building their confidence and their understanding that they can compete with the nation's elite. And they got tremendous contributions off the bench. Various ways. The Illini should feel pretty good about this victory.
And some curtain calls as well. Now Myers Leonard will get one.
And John Salazar for Illinois. Replacing DJ Richardson and Myers Leonard.
3 off the front rim for Stockton. Pangos knocks one down. But this will be an Illini win. Your final 82-75. Illinois survives several charges from Gonzaga. 8-0 for the first time since 2005-2006 for Illinois. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. For Stephen Bardo, I'm Bob Wischusen. So long from Champaign. Let's go to Lawrence, Mark Neely, and Sean Farnham.